That'll wake you up. Hello! Man, life's been busy lately. The thesis of this channel is to explore comics, and really entertainment, that I missed out on as a kid. Lately, some of the reviews seem to be more of me babbling on at length about why I like certain things. So this week we have a combination of both. Two of these comics are my absolute favorite comics of all time, and one of them I completely missed out on. So who's your favorite Batman villain? I can tell you one of mine since 1991 has been the Predator. Yes, that Predator. In 1991, DC Comics and Dark Horse Comics created a crossover event between the Dark Knight and 20th Century Fox's Predator, and 10-year-old Sean lost his damn mind. I was still riding high over the 1989 Batman movie, and as we've seen in a previous review, Batman Returns was on its way in 1992. I have two versions of these comics, the original floppies and the re-released cardstock covers with uncut trading cards in the back. For this review, I'll be using the floppy versions that bore the brunt of middle school with me. Also, I've had a request for a face reveal, so here you go. Gorgeous. Moving on. Jumping right into it, here's the cover of Batman vs. Predator #1. No clue why they put this little detail here instead of a barcode, but it looks cool. Here's our list of responsible parties this go around. The Kuberts, or Kuberts? Sons of the legendary Joe Kubert. Kubert? We start with a boxing match for the heavyweight championship between Bull Bersaglio and Marcus King. Jumping to a junkyard, we hear the audio from the fight as a piece of crap owner named Woodrow, I assume from a sign later on, throws his dog, lovingly named Satan, outside for making noise. This has always cracked me up. He's so rigid, like his doggy programming can't handle the information overload and that confused face. Hilarious. Woodrow hears Satan attacked and goes to check on him. The clever part about this whole thing is the fight dialogue matches up to what's going in the junkyard. So when Bersaglio gets blasted by King in the fight, that's when Woodrow gets blasted by the Predator. It's a clever touch. Boom! Here's our first appearance of the Predator. There he is, folks. Really, take it in. Glorious! The Predator has timed his entrance perfectly to catch the post-fight wrap-up with Marcus King, the new heavyweight champ, saying that he and his lady are going to have their own after-party in the penthouse of the Plaza Hotel. And now we have our first major target of the story. Back at the fight, Alex Yeager and Mayor Julius Lieberman are leaving the fight with Raymond Squire, who introduces Bruce Wayne, hanging out with Commissioner Gordon, to Yeager. They exchange words, Bruce is invited to an after-party, and Gordon accuses Yeager of being a criminal as he leaves in a huff. Just then, Leo Broden comes charging through, mad that his fighter just lost. The thing is, Yeager and Broden actually are criminals, but have a truce going on, and for the time being, their fighting is left to the boxing ring. Meanwhile, in the penthouse, bloop blop. Party's over, mofo! Marcus grabs a lamp and the Predator uses his net-launching action to subdue the champ, as his lady looks on in horror. And I'm not sure what the heck is happening in this last panel. I think it's his skull falling, or something? That's the thing with the Predator, I never completely understood. Like, he's seen the guy as a boxer, so you would think he would want to take him on in fisticuffs. Thinking about that a little harder though, I guess you don't put on antlers and ram a deer with your head when you hunt them either. Alright, it works. Back at the after-party, Alfred interrupts Bruce's conversation with Raymond Squire, subtly reminding him of a prior commitment. The commitment of justice! He pulls the car around and gives Bruce the lowdown from the police radio. Good hunting, Master Bruce. Good. At the Plaza Hotel, Gordon is on the scene with Detective Kandowski. I don't think they ever say her first name. This series is a little odd. I don't think they even say Raymond Squire's name until the middle of the second issue. King's lady freaks out, mistaking Batman for the creature again, and Batman goes to work investigating, while getting the lowdown from Kandowski. King's hands are missing, as is his championship belt, and the guards on duty have been killed as well. The three reason together that maybe the criminal, Broden, had finally been pushed too far, losing the fight, and that their truce couldn't possibly last forever. Kandowski hyperbolically postulates that Broden hired Jack the Ripper to make the hit. Batman decides to pay him a visit before war breaks out between Yeager and the rival crime boss, but unbeknownst to all of them, the monster they seek watches on high. Broden's gym. Bull is making excuses for his loss, and Broden is wound tighter than a $2 watch. Sorry, quick Google search for a folky-type saying. Bull's wise trainer is an old blind black man. I honestly can't remember him having an actual name. From the shadows emerges our grim Avenger, calling Broden a loser with his best Kevin Conroy impression. He asks some questions and Broden tells him to get out before his thugs try to jump him. They're easily dispatched, of course, and Batman tells Broden to watch his back, since Yeager will probably be looking to even the score. Meanwhile, our hero is still being stalked as he swings away. The creature watches as Alfred picks him up and then murders this cat for no apparent reason. I feel like this Predator definitely has a slightly different personality than we've seen in the movies before. Meanwhile, at stately Wayne Manor, Alfred is dusting some heirloom animal trophies and making a case for throwing them out, when they should probably just donate them to a museum or something. Tax write-off. Bruce agrees, except for the blunderbuss gun. Foreshadowing? It's probably cheesy when they work in something that just happens to be related to the story like this, but I kinda dig it actually. An extra bit to tie the story to the theme. They discuss clues Bruce found at the previous crime scene, including corroded metal/rust flakes, and the bat signal burns to life in the sky above. Alfred runs through a list of crime-fighting prep, and I hate this frame with all of my life. The colorist is fired. Bruce's hand is colored flesh tone, when he's clearly wearing the blue gauntlet already. To the Batmobile! Broden's gym! Again! Slaughter! Kandowski is on the scene. The place is a mess with blood covering the ring. The only survivor is the old blind black guy from the previous scene. He recognizes Batman's voice and tells him the killer said the words "open season," and that it sounded kind of like him. Outside, Gordon is arguing with the SWAT team that the mayor ordered in when Batman notices 3 red dots on the old man's chest who is being escorted outside. The Predator blasts him, and really this Predator is just kind of a whereas other Predators wouldn't kill you unless you have a weapon or challenge them outright. This one just kills for no reason, left and right. The SWAT team blasts the top of the building, and Gordon yells for Batman to take cover. The red laser dots burn hotly on Batman's chest symbol before disappearing. Hey, check that out! Somewhere in my travels, I can't remember when, I heard someone come up with the excuse that Batman has the bright yellow symbol on his chest because it's the most armored part of his body, and if someone is going to shoot at him, he wants them to focus their gunfire right there. It's probably just a nerdy justification for the costume design, but I love that it's kind of unintentionally appropriate here. From this, Batman is starting to piece together the rules of how this killer operates. Rules being used loosely here, obviously, since this Predator seems to kill whenever a cat looks at him wrong. Later in the cave, he pieces together a bit more based on the murders that have occurred so far. And look, even Bruce says the old guy was just casually picked off. The Predator has a code of honor, but honestly it's a shaky one. And I'd say his random killing is to get you to fear him in a short amount of time, since this story is only 3 issues long. Bruce asks Alfred to check out some junkyards for him based on the magnetized rusted metal filings he's found, and mud that only comes from the East River. Honestly, it seems like a bit much to me to ask your butler to check out the possible hideout locations of a mass murderer for you, but what do I know? I'm not rich. On TV, Raymond Squire is setting up a meeting at the Squire Center between the crime bosses to settle things and work together on their common problem. And that's too good for Bruce to pass up. And too good for our Predator to pass up as well as he crashes the party. I love this! A crash through the window and bam! Batman is springing into action. Zero hesitation. Gotta love the trailing cape. The action appears to be over as soon as it started when surprise! Batman finally gets his first good look at the killer that he's been chasing. This is one of numerous images of the Predator that as a kid I drew over and over again. But Broden is there with a shotgun and blasts the alien off of Batman's back and sending the Predator out into the world. Gordon and the police burst in as Alfred clues Batman in on the junkyard he found matching the descriptions he gave earlier, and he heads there now. He cuts his way in and discovers all the trophies the Predator has taken so far, including the championship belt and the hands. Meanwhile, at the same time, our antagonist comes limping back home. More dialogue from the TV that's been left on fits with the actions happening in the frames, such as a husband coming home from work and talking about having a good day at the office. Later, the Predator will parrot the same dialogue at random. He's really addicted to television at this point. Another Predator image I used to try and copy over and over and over as a kid. Batman spies on him before throwing what I assume is a knockout gas grenade, but the Predator chucks that blade disc from Predator 2 at him. Batman vanishes as the Predator catches the weapon. I love how enormous this bolt is. It took no time at all for Batman to figure out the Predator's kryptonite. Heavy dropped on it. Batman limps towards the wreck, ready to beat the Predator to death with a lead pipe. I'm not sure what this frame is showing here. I think they're just trying to say that the Predator is a for ripping his cape? Another image I tried to copy as a kid. Pretty much I just loved the Predator and tried to draw stuff from this comic all the time. How's Batman gonna get out of this one?
Tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel.
And that's it for issue number 1. After 28 years, my poor comic has seen better days. Issue 1 and 2 frequently went with me to school and would immediately come out of the backpack when I had free time or when I was supposed to be paying attention. Issue 2. This image is the reason why I'm still able to doodle a badly drawn Predator without looking at it today. His head would adorn the top corners of numerous class notes. There's another little detail instead of a barcode again, and we pick up right where we left off. Batman is in bad shape when he whips out a remote and signals the Batmobile. This headlight effect. I never really liked it as a kid, but as an adult it adds a nice flair, no pun intended, to the shot, and I would definitely use that in my own art. The Batmobile crashes through the fence and slams into the Predator, but here's what I don't like about this sequence. The Predator looks over his right shoulder as the Batmobile blows through the fence. The vehicle hits the alien and turns to face them, but the Predator falls backwards. The Predator blasts the Batmobile with his laser, and the car hits him again, but this time the Predator is way out in front of Batman. The pacing of the action is very important to me, and I really try to focus on what I refer to as continuity of frame. Even in non-action sequences, it's important to know where your characters are. So what the hell is happening here? Forget it, doesn't matter. Hey, check that out! There's no roof on the Batmobile and he's essentially driving a version of the '89 toy. Batman jumps in and I don't know how he's not dead here. The vehicle auto-drives back to the Batcave just as the police show up. Later, news reporter Jennifer gives the details of the previous night's battle and asks Gordon if Batman is dead. Cut to the Batmobile that's seen better days, which starts this montage on the bottom of the next few pages, showing the aftermath of the fight through the Batcave. I've put them all together here. Holy f***, Bruce is in bad shape. It looks like he's blind. Maybe from the laser blast going off right next to his face? That might account for some of the burns, but full body? Gordon is called into the mayor's office to get chewed out, as Squire acts like a tough guy on TV. Broden and his mother go to church, which I find amusing since they're criminals, and later he'll show up on TV talking about how he's going to stop this killer, while brandishing a shotgun. I'm not sure who lets you on TV to do this type of thing. And please, someone tell me what's going on in this image. Why does the Predator seem to have a mandible tooth coming from his eyebrow? That night at Squire's place, he's making plans to beat it the hell out of town when the lights go out. And then... bloop blop.
Want some candy?
Later, the police show up, and on a model of the city, like a super criminal, the Predator has slathered blood all over it as a message that the city belongs to him. Kandowski remarks that it seems like even Batman has fled the city, and Gordon refuses to hear that. While they investigate the crime scene, we jump over to Broden's residence, and naturally, who's gonna show up but your friend and mine? The Predator makes short work of the numerous guards around the compound, and Broden and his mother make it for the strong room? I guess it wasn't called the safe room until that movie. Nice touch with the cross there, though. Irony, good character building. The Predator comes crashing through the wall of the not-so-strong room. To her credit, Frog Mom's got some guff. We all know what's gonna happen here. Another trophy for the mantle. A week later, and no sign of Batman. The mayor is on TV doing his tough guy bit, and Gordon is out of ideas. So he starts calling up random upstanding citizens to ask if they have some kind of contact with Batman, and to get him to show up. First call, Bruce Wayne! Alfred answers and tells the commissioner that Bruce is out of town. Meanwhile, Bruce is in another room of the house, blind but apparently functioning. Gordon gets called in to see the mayor again, who goes to take the last dump of his life. Bruce is still in rough shape but getting better as news reports on the mayor's murder play on television. Gordon is on the roof with a midnight deadline for Batman to respond to his calls. Otherwise, at dawn tomorrow, SWAT teams and the Coast Guard will be called in to sweep the city, with the potential for lives lost being very high. I assume the governor takes over in the case that the mayor is killed and makes that decision. Just out of curiosity, though, I looked up where Gotham City is supposed to be located. Turns out it's New Jersey, and the governor in 1991 of New Jersey would have been this guy. Supervillain. Batman misses the deadline and Predator stands triumphant. As an anonymous citizen calls in a tip about something weird standing on top of the old St. Martin's Cathedral. Snap! Man, the Predator freaking booked it over there. At home, the Commissioner finally gets a phone call from an old friend. Batman has it all figured out, and he breaks it down the whole scenario for Gordon, which you fine folks have already put together, I'm sure. An alien creature on safari here on Earth, choosing the biggest and most powerful prey to hunt. One tough guy after another making boastful claims on TV of being in charge, and now Bruce is worried that Commissioner Gordon may be next. Gordon isn't worried though, since he has a sniper on the roof and some of his best cops outside. Oh. Someone's at the door and Gordon goes to see who it is. Boom! Predator calling with more TV show references. Gordon is staring down death when Kandowski shows up to save him. Oh look, another example of a strong female character. Pre-2016, that then proceeds to blow the Predator away. She throws Gordon out the door and unfortunately meets her end, saving his life, as apparently she's shot with the Predator laser. The Predator bursts through, but it's too late as Gordon speeds away to safety. Bruce has been on the phone the whole time, and the Predator knows his voice. Fight me. That's all Bruce needs to hear. He had been prepping, but now it's go time, suiting up, dropping his cane, and jumping inside another 89-inspired Batmobile. I feel like because of this comic, I tend to use a lot of extra lines to fill in on drawings and make them look more impressive than they actually are. These gloves look pretty cool. I like this panel also because Alfred is doing his normal worrying over Bruce, and he actually acknowledges it, rather than the brooding Batman that would normally leave without a word type of thing. Look at these clouds. I've drawn clouds this simple before, and I always berate myself that they look too simple. They're great. Commissioner Gordon is back at police headquarters, and a news report confirms they found the killer's new hideout at St. Martin's Cathedral and several trophies of his victims. Just then they get word of movement on the roof, and the group of them go to check it out. They take a shot at it before Gordon yells at them to stand down. Batman fires up the bat signal again, and Gordon asks him what the plan is. Batman stands epically in the rain and says again in his best Kevin Conroy impression, "I'm the one at once. Let it come and get me." And every single time I draw rain falling on someone, I think of this comic and this shot. And you can see my copy of issue 2 has also seen a lot of wear and tear. And that's it. For me at least, this is where the story stopped. Issue number 3 appeared in stores. Mom, can we get this? No. But it's the last one. We're leaving.
Holy nightmare!
My friend and roommate at the time, Richie, came to me one day and asked if I wanted this random issue of Batman vs. Predator number 3. My pupils dilated, if I'm using that word correctly. Yes! I exclaimed. I think he was a bit taken back by my response for a random crossover comic. Finally, I would find out how the story ended. Obviously Batman would win, but how he did it was the important part, and how awesome he looked doing it in his weird 90s sonar armor. Issue number 3, not my favorite cover, and no tiny detail shot. I don't think any of the contributors have changed, but I love the chroming on Batman's helmet. I'm definitely going to use that sometime later in my own stuff. The news announces that Batman is back as the Predator squats under a water tower and prepares himself. Look at the little tiny Predator running away. Batman is ready as well in his sonar suit with reflective body armor. The Predator blasts the bat signal into oblivion. The alien hunter thinks he's so clever being invisible, saying, "See you." In response, Batman produces his own harpoon weapon, shrugs off a freaking laser blast and says, "See you too," and destroys the laser utterly and shorts out the cloaking device. Batman is back, and he's got the Predator all figured out. Iconic double-page spread. The Predator springs into action and Batman chucks him off a building. This makes me laugh, and as they fall, Batman swings to safety. This shot was definitely influenced by the Predator 2 movie with the claw scraping down the side of the building. That bounce on top of the cop car. Hilarious. The Predator whips out the throwing disc again. This is probably my favorite Predator weapon of all of them, and hey, I can use this type of line work to help me out in my own comic. Batman's line is cut and he drops to the pavement. The Predator bounds after him, but oh no! What's that noise, Predator? Sounds like your other kryptonite. Blam! The Batmobile slams into the alien, sending him flying. Batman jumps in and the Predator jumps on, starting to trash this car as well. The cops rush outside just as the news van shows up. Batman takes control of the streetlights, giving him a straight shot to his destination as he roars through the streets. Batman engages Turbo as the Predator bashes his way in finally. Suddenly, he slams on the brake, sending the Predator flying. Bailing out, Batman takes the chase into the woods, leading the Predator on as he continues to keep the creature off balance with familiar tricks, like a swarm of bats. Seeing that house in the distance, plus the swarm of bats, you might be thinking what I was thinking, and you'd be right. The Predator takes a dive through the hole that Bruce fell through as a kid, straight into a capture net. Batman swings down as the Predator begins cutting his way free. Predator is almost loose, and Batman walks over to a precipice to jump over it, but the Predator grabs him by the cape at the last moment. They slam into the wall, and he unfastens his cape and kicks the creature off. You know, sometimes I wonder how much crap lays at the bottom of the abyss in the Batcave. I feel like a lot of stories have wound up there with monsters or creatures and ended with them falling into darkness. Batman climbs up, the Predator climbs up, and for the life of me, I had no idea what the hell this image was. I now think it's the top of the Predator's sandaled foot. Batman leads him deeper into the caves when titanium prison bars slam down and then patoo! Batman shoots him with a wide-spectrum tranquilizer. Oh snap, son! So what's a good Predator to do when he knows he's been defeated? Batman slams open the cell and tears electrical wiring from the wall, shorting out the Predator's gauntlet with explosive results. The Predator is on the move again, and Batman follows the glowing blood trail. Thwap! Another shot of tranquilizer. The champ is woozy! And he goes down. What the heck is that thing, a desk? It looks like a little bridge. Slowly, Batman stalks forward and goes in for the obligatory check to see if he's dead, and pulls off the mask.
You one ugly mother...
Thank God they don't reuse that same stupid joke. It was funny when Arnold said it because it reflected what the audience was thinking. It was forced and out of place when they used it in the second one, and probably my only real problem with that movie. Predator snaps awake and backhands Batman into the giant penny. He moves in for the kill, but what's this? The Pennyworth Kid shows up with the aforementioned blunderbuss. Kablamo! The Predator is knocked down, but not for long, and grabs Alfred by the throat. For once, not just killing a bystander. He stumbles into the trophy room upstairs looking for an escape as Alfred jacks up the penny to free Batman so he can continue the pursuit. He grabs a bat and follows the trail outside. I love these trees and the mood of this shot. The simplicity and cloud effects do so much, and those trees are just inspired. Predator is in rough shape, and this is totally a Michael Keaton Batman moment. That whole ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight moment in the movie right before he punches Joker in the face. Hi, it's me, freaking Batman! I like this shot. He hits him with so much force that the center rotation of his body is his pelvis. Folks, the Predator has just about had it now. He's been outclassed and outtoyed when who should show up? The Predator clan. They march out and present the defeated Predator with a sword, which he uses to end his life. They rip it loose, towel it off, and present it to Batman as the coolest trophy ever.
Take it.
They grab the body and blast off for space, back to wherever they came from. Yucha. Were they even named Yucha yet? Am I saying that right? Yucha? Alfred catches up with Bruce finally and asks if they'll be back. He assures Alfred they won't, now that they know what lives in Gotham. Bull. That environment looks great. Bruce says it's a nice night and Alfred agrees. It's a real hunter's moon. Gotta tell you, I don't think that qualifies as a pun, and I love this cheesy comic book line to tie the story up nice and neat. Makes me feel warm inside. This comic series stuck with me so much that I have a few different Batman and Predator figures at different scales, including Lego versions that are permanently locked in Mortal Kombat atop my wife's modular Lego city. Heck, when Kenner Toys made their Predator line of figures, I lost my dang mind as a kid and ended up getting both the Cracked Tusk and Scavenge Predators to fight my Kenner Batman Returns figures. Blue Batman is the best Batman. Even this animated version looks similar to the sonar suit armor, and I loved it. Also, I just found out that NECA Toys had planned figures based on the comic in 2017, but as far as I've been able to figure, they couldn't get the rights sorted out. I would have bought these in a heartbeat. It's weird for me to go back and read this comic and realize how much the art influenced how I handle drawing currently. Even after 7 years of art school, there are still techniques that I subconsciously use when I draw. I think that means that the Kuberts could be considered my earliest mentors in the comic art field. With their father being Joe Kubert, I'd say that that's a pretty good legacy to be a part of, even if I'm doing more cartoony stuff. Normally I'd wrap up these reviews with what I've learned and what I can take with me, but I feel like I've been dropping those things in here and there throughout. I will be using low-hanging fog a lot more with horizontal lines delineating obscure detail in the future. I've mentioned before that this comic series is why I love Predator 2 so much. They share some common aspects and I really wish they would turn this into an animated feature, like they have been with practically every other comic. But there's definitely no hope of that happening now. If you're looking to read the story yourself, there's a trade currently available that contains Batman vs. Predator 1, 2, and 3. Those are parts, not individual issues, to be confused with. I have never read the follow-up stories, and I honestly don't think I knew they existed until just a few years ago. So maybe there's a follow-up review in the future for parts 2 and 3? We'll see. So that's it. Sorry this guy was a bit late. Personal life stuff came up and it couldn't be helped. I'll see you next time with a new review. Tell your friends, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye. I have to acknowledge my good friend Lorenzo, who provided the rocket and helmet from the Rocketeer in the last review. Look him up on Instagram under Fat Game Boy if you're interested in retro gaming and inappropriate comedy. Not that he needs my pathetic shout out with his 5,000 subscribers, Jeebus.
I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman!